Hello, good morning and welcome back, or welcome to Morning Ray. I'm your host, Lan. I know so many of us are just truly trying to make it through the week, attempting to figure out what our next step is, what we should be doing, and truthfully trying not to spiral on that random Tuesday night. 20s can be a wild ride, and I loved recording our confidence and letting go of people pleasing episode last week. So I decided to continue on with this confidence series because I feel like this is something I have been actively working on in therapy in terms of my confidence and my self-esteem in my career, in life, in relationships, in friendships, in dating, learning how to set boundaries, learning how not to people please, and knowing how to communicate better and more effectively to be secure in myself and be able to make decisions on my own and do things alone. I used to be someone who was really shy and insecure, and I would get really nervous and socially anxious to go and do things by my own or on my own in fear of judgment, in fear of what other people might think or say, or, just anything that would result as a result of my actions, maybe feeling embarrassed or fear of getting embarrassed, something like that. And I know I'm not the only one. And I feel like in the past 6 months or a year, I guess, 6 months, 8 months, maybe 12, a little bit more or less, I have really decided to look inwards and outwards, I guess, but to really challenge myself to step into this next version of me, this next evolvement of Allana, this new chapter, this new era of being confident and authentically myself and owning my truth. And I want to help you, or maybe your friend, if you want to share this with a friend, a sibling, maybe it's a parent, a coworker, whoever, share with them now. This episode is truly for you. If you have ever doubted yourself, felt behind, or wondered if you're doing this whole adulting thing right, I'm going to help you figure out how to be more confident and give you tangible takeaways and a little bit of homework to do after this episode to become the more confident, independent version of yourself in your 20s, and to also not feel so alone and being unsure about what direction you should be going in. Really just like focusing on how I have successfully, I would say pretty successfully. Obviously, I'm human. I have my moments where I feel insecure. I don't feel as confident, and I kind of revert back to old pathways and coping mechanisms and ways of thinking. But I feel like I've become a pretty confident, independent version of myself in my early 20s. Now, entering into my mid to late 20s. I say that very hesitantly because I'm turning 26 this year in a few months, and I just want to give you guys, as a friend, as a sister, as a big sister, maybe someone you look up to, I don't know, I'm just a girl, but some simple yet tangible and not overwhelming methods that you can incorporate to become more confident, to become more independent. Let's do a little life update. Let's do our current faves, and then we'll jump right into it. I have been teaching Pilates like nonstop. I'm so sorry. It's my whole personality, but at the same time, I'm not sorry at all. I'm loving it, and I feel like it's finally given me the purpose that I was looking for in my career, the structure, the stability, all of that. And I just love how much it intimidates me, so much so. But I've been loving that, and I'm going to Miami next weekend with my friend Lauren and her two friends, and I'm so excited to be there for High Rocks and to be a part of that whole community and to be exposed to it, because I haven't gone to anything High Rocks yet before, so I'm so curious to see what it's like. Catch me training for my High Rocks. No, I don't think I'm entering my high intensity interval training era, but I'm so excited to be there and to support Lauren and to support my other friends who are also competing in High Rocks, and to also selfishly be in the sun in warm weather and have a little girls trip. But really, that's kind of what's going on. I've been crazy working over here, balancing my new job and my current old job, I guess. So that's been fun. But on to current faves. I've been obsessed with these boxy t-shirts from Nudes and pairing them with my Goldie low slung baggy jeans. I feel like it's the ultimate cool girl, chill girl, comfy, put together outfit, and I feel super confident and comfortable in them. So absolutely love these boxy t-shirts from Nudes. I've been obsessed with the color navy. I just picked up a Lululemon set in True Navy. I think True Navy? Yeah, True Navy. I got the Align leggings and then the Flow Y Nulu bra. So excited. And I also picked up, I think it's an Ebb to Street cropped tank in True Navy as well, because I've been liking wearing tank tops when I'm teaching. But love everything navy. Also got a slinky ribbed t-shirt in navy from Nudes as well. And I have been obsessed with being a plant mom, repairing my plants. My Birds of Paradise has kind of gotten a little ill, so I've been trying to revive her. I accidentally killed my pothos plant. RIP to Patty. That was her name. I name all my plant. Well, no, I don't name all of them. They don't all have names. Really, only Marilyn has a name, which was is my Monstera, who I repotted last week. I also added more topsoil to my Birds of Paradise. I hope that doesn't make it worse, but we cut off a branch of my Birds of Paradise that was weighing it down. I got a new pothos. Her name is Penelope. She's thriving so far. Hopefully I don't kill her. And I have my snake plant. I also have an aloe plant, which I'll be honest, I kind of forget about her a lot. So RIP to my aloe plant. I'm trying to be a better plant mom. I paid for a subscription to a plant app. I got the app Planta. So we're going to try using that. It gives me reminders and tasks to do, like watering my plants with plant food or fertilizer, spraying them, misting them, everything. So we're trying to bring the plants back this spring season and help them grow and flourish. And I want my Birds of Paradise plant to look as good as it did when I first moved in here for the first 2 years. I feel like the last year it's kind of plummeted down a bit, but let's break down the myth of having it all together in your 20s, because I feel like there's this societal pressure to have everything sorted out, to be confident in what path you're taking, to be confident in what you're doing every single day, and to just like know the answer to everything. And that is so far from the truth. Like, I understand. I'm sure you guys, I'm aware that I probably appear like I have everything put together on social media, but I'm here telling you I don't. I don't know what my 5-year plan is. I don't really have one, although I do like to ask that question on dates. It's just always curious. I mean, for me, it's not really like the 5-year plan kind of thing, or I like to ask people that in general, but I find it an interesting way to see how people think and how they reflect and how they respond, more so than what the actual 5-year plan is. In terms of confidence doesn't always mean being loud or always knowing what to say. It's not having a flawless morning routine or looking like your life is perfect and insane online, like you have this super lavish life filled with lots of expensive luxuries. Like, that is not what confidence is. Real confidence is quiet. It's how you talk to yourself when things don't go as planned. It's trusting yourself to figure things out even when you're scared. Like, you're not born with confidence. I spoke about this on last week's episode. It is truly built from learning to trust yourself and trust your decisions, and the results are what happened from small actions. So these little small wins, these little promises you keep to yourself, building trust with yourself is how you build confidence. Reflecting on setbacks and how maybe they've shaped stronger boundaries, or learning from past experiences and acknowledging where you could have maybe acted different or responded differently or dealt with the situation differently. And then when you're being presented with similar circumstances again, because that's just the nature of life, or at least, I don't know, that's how my life has been. I'm usually presented similar circumstances time and time again until I learn the lesson and I learn how to better handle that situation better each and every time, and learn how to set boundaries and communicate them. When I think about this, I think a lot with relationships, whether it be work relationships, friendships, family relationships, or even romantic relationships. I have really learned from experiences where I've let people cross boundaries that I didn't set, where I let people kind of push me to my limits, kind of push me around, not respect me. I've now learned from feeling how I felt from those situations, how to communicate effectively what I need, how I want to be treated, and where I want to be met. And knowing that when those boundaries, when those expectations aren't met or respected, knowing to walk away and knowing what my worth is, and that if that person can't respect me for that, someone else will. What does confidence actually look like? And this is something I wish I learned more sooner. I wish I learned it sooner. I mean, I feel like I learned this still pretty young, but confidence comes from keeping those silly little promises to yourself, except they're really not that silly, because keeping them time over time, those little promises, the promise to go to Pilates in the morning, the promise to clean up after yourself, the promise to go grocery shopping, the promise to stop vaping, these little things, they compound and they create a bigger effect. It's kind of like that James Clear methodology of getting 1% better every day results to 360% better in a year's time. And this goes to say, like, if you say you are going to go on a walk or start journaling, then you actually do that. That little voice inside your head gets stronger. You start to believe, okay, I can count on me. Because if you can't count on yourself, how can you expect yourself to count on other people? Like, you need to show up for yourself the way you want others to show up for you first. You need to have the relationship with yourself that you want other people to have with you, because your relationship with yourself is mirrored in your relationships with others in all areas of your life, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. The way in which our partner treats us is a direct correlation to how, not always, but obviously exceptions to the rules, you guys know the drill, but many times the way in which our partner treats us, or the person we are romantically involved with, is a direct reflection of the way in which we treat ourselves. And I know that can be a hard thing to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's true. And I can speak from personal experience. All my partners that they were never boyfriends, but people that I've been involved with that walked all over me, that I stayed with even though they showed no interest, or they didn't treat me the way I thought I wanted to be treated, or I knew I should be treated, but that was a result because I didn't have the respect for myself. I didn't know how to communicate boundaries. I didn't think I was worthy of more, so therefore I was accepting of less behavior. The thing is even though you start keeping promises to yourself, you are still going to mess up. You are still going to doubt yourself. That doesn't make you less confident. If anything, it gives you more tools to bounce back, because we learn from things that happen in our life. We are not failures when things don't go the way we want them to go. You are only a failure if you give up and don't get back up. Confidence is truly built in the rebuild, and I can confidently say that every single time I've been torn down, whether it was from heartbreak or something happening in my personal life in terms of family or friendships or career or school, whatever it is, I only came back stronger. It's like that trend on TikTok where my voice just cracked. It's like that trend on TikTok about the no revenge, because every single time my spark got taken away, it came back brighter type of thing. Every single time you are pulled back, you are flung so much more further, because the rebuild makes you stronger. It makes you more confident. It brings you back brighter and stronger than before. It proves to you that you can get through hard shit no matter what. You are always capable of getting through, of finding that silver lining, of getting to the end of the tunnel. You've been through shit and you're still here. You can reframe confidence as showing up for yourself, making decisions even when you're unsure, letting go of people pleasing. Listen to last week's episode if you haven't, or re-listen as a reminder. In terms of tips and reflections with regard to confidence, keeping small promises to yourself, Practicing messy action. Don't wait till you're ready. You are never going to be ready. Confidence is truly built through taking action. You can't just sit here and plan and plan and plan and study, looking at the theory, studying, planning, prepping. You need to start doing in order to build that confidence and that security in yourself. You learn from experience, hands-on experience, not theory. Think about it. You go to school for a degree or whatever it is, a certificate, a degree, a diploma. You learn all this theory about business, about science, about psychology, whatever it is, whatever you study. You don't actually learn how to do the job you want to have as your career until you start doing the job. Yes, the theory and the knowledge you picked up in school helps, but you don't actually learn how to do the thing you're preparing for until you start doing it. So you're technically never ready. You're never going to be ready. You can study and be a student your whole life, but you need to start doing things. You learn through taking action. I could have sat here and done a million different certificates for teaching Pilates, but I would have never gained the confidence that I have gained in the past 6 weeks that I've been teaching super consistently without actually teaching. I have learned so much more about teaching and instructing and cueing and becoming a better instructor by instructing. I have learned so much more about being a content creator, a podcast host through creating content, through recording podcasts, through creating content that I'm sharing with you guys and getting your feedback and refining my skill, working that muscle over and over again, not just prepping and planning and thinking of things in theory. Watch yourself talk. Would you say that to your best friend, your younger self, your little sibling? Learn to counteract any negative thoughts that you have with something positive, more kinder. And this isn't toxic positivity, but it's learning about how to rewire the way in which you intuitively think. And as a reminder, you don't need to be the loudest or most polished to be the most confident. You just need to trust yourself more than you doubt yourself. It's as simple as that. But let's talk independence. Oh, why does it think I'm talking to Alexa? Let's talk independence, because it's not about doing everything alone. That would be hyper independence. But it's about having your own back and feeling confident in your ability to do that. Emotional independence, that's you knowing that your worth doesn't change based on someone else's opinion or whether they text you back. It's being able to enjoy your own company. That's truly that's the biggest one. The biggest one is learning to enjoy your own company. Being able to take yourself on a solo coffee date or going to a movie alone. That is truly hot girl energy. You are not outsourcing your worth. Learning how to validate yourself from within, to give yourself that validation, to have it be enough, instead of seeking external validation from friends, from colleagues, from mentors, your boss, romantic interests, especially. I feel like that was a huge one for me. I constantly felt like I had to get validation from men. And last year, I became a lot more self-aware whenever I felt the desire to reach out to someone for whatever reason it was, and I stopped myself every single time. Is the potential response actually going to give me the validation that I am looking for? Would I be okay if they don't respond, or is that going to make me feel even downer than I'm already feeling? Can I, instead of messaging or calling or hitting up XYZ person, can I give that validation I'm looking for, that I'm seeking, that I'm craving to myself instead? Is there something else that I can do, an activity, a thing, I don't know, an activity is the best word for it, that I can do that can provide me what I'm looking for, that can fill up my cup, that can give me that fulfillment that I'm looking for? 99% of the time, if you are working on your independence and your self-secureness, your self-esteem, your confidence, you should be able to give that to yourself. And if you find you are continuously relying on others to fill that validation for you, to provide it, then I think it's time to reflect inwards. Maybe grab your journal, maybe reach out to your therapist or get a therapist or speak to someone, because you should be able to give yourself validation, and a secure, confident person can do that. And you can, and you will, and you can work towards that. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but I promise you it is possible, speaking and coming from someone who used to heavily rely on external validation and really sought after the validation of others all the freaking time. And it gets exhausting. And it is so rewarding to be able to now say that I can provide that to myself. But I will say, I am human. I do sometimes still want validation from others. I think it's a natural thing. But again, it comes kind of to, it's similar to that statement of you need to trust yourself more than you doubt yourself. You need to provide yourself validation more than you need it from others. Learning how to be comfortable doing things solo and not being fearful of how other people might perceive you or having to latch onto someone for like emotional support is so important. And if 2024 taught me anything, it was that I can do things I never thought I could do alone. I can do them alone. And that has probably been the most confidence, self-esteem boosting thing I have ever done. First of all, 3 years ago when I moved out by myself, doing that was a huge confidence boosting thing. Being able to pay bills, and we'll get into financial security and financial independence and stuff like that in a moment. But being able to pay for my lifestyle alone, being able to run errands by myself. I used to never be able to do that. And last year, I really learned about traveling by myself. I went to London and flew to Italy by myself, places I had never been with other people before, and I was okay. And I had so much fun on those trips, and they really were groundbreaking times for me. So if this is your sign, I want you to see it as your sign. This is your sign to start doing things alone. Do the things that you get a little nervous, excited about, that you want to do these things, but they kind of intimidate you, like going to a workout class by yourself, maybe going to your favorite breakfast place and having breakfast by yourself. Maybe it's going shopping by yourself. Maybe it's going to the bar and grabbing a drink, bringing your book and sitting there by yourself. Whatever it is, I encourage you to try to do more things solo. And with that said, learning how to self-soothe and regulate your own emotions. Yes, it's nice to be able to talk to someone, to lean on someone, and that is necessary sometimes, and it's completely healthy and normal. But knowing how to do so by yourself, for yourself, is also a confidence boosting thing. When it comes to being alone, it doesn't mean that you are lonely. It means being able to get to know yourself deeper, better, and to be braver. When it comes to financial independence, it is truly a journey. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. And I wish it was something they taught in school more. And even as someone who studied business for my bachelor's degree in university, I mean, I studied finance, I studied accounting, economics, all of it, but it was really a self-taught journey over here. Obviously, my dad helped me a lot, but I've learned to become curious and ask questions and do research and seek out tools to help me learn better. But even learning how to track your spending or saving a little each month or learning about investments, getting curious, like for things, say in Canada, such as like your tax-free savings account or your retirement savings account, or now we have first-time home buyers savings account, learning about portfolios and whatnot, or even the simplest task as signing up for a credit card, learning what credit cards are best for whatever benefits you are seeking from it, such as like points for travel or cash back or whatever it is, and learning how to properly pay off your credit cards in order to benefit your credit score. Knowing that and taking control in that, especially as a woman, especially with like past generations, women not being able to have their own credit cards, women not being able to have their own bank accounts, relying on men to financially provide for them. I know many couples in my parents' generations, the wives have no idea what's going on with the finances and how much life costs and all of these things. And like I think learning that as a woman, as a female, especially as a single, even if you have a boyfriend or a partner and you're in a relationship, like learning about these things for yourself so that you know that you have yourself's back, like you have your back. You don't necessarily need to be a financial girly, but knowing your money isn't a mystery is truly such a powerful thing. And I think what's her name? The girl that plays, well, not the girl, the woman that plays Meredith Grey. What's her name? Ellen Pompeo. She was just on Call Her Daddy. But she was saying, and I might be butchering this, but because I didn't watch the episode, I actually been meaning to, but I just saw a clip on TikTok. But she was saying like the biggest thing for independence for women is financial freedom and financial independence. So if that isn't going to motivate you to educate yourself, to get curious, to learn, to become smarter with your money and to better manage it and to want to become passionate and knowledgeable and educated on it, I don't know what can, because I definitely will say becoming financially independent and knowledgeable and confident in my ability to not only earn money, but know how to spend my money safely and properly and responsibly, knowing how to invest my money, save my money, and set myself up for a good future and to have a good relationship with money has been the most empowering thing that I have been able to do, especially as a young female and especially in today's society and where we're moving, because we can now. We aren't limited to having to rely on a male. We can do it ourselves, which is really empowering. Like I love learning more about finances. I love learning more about stocks, even learning more about crypto, whatever it is. Like I love educating myself on things that I don't know about. So start where you are, ask questions, look up budgeting apps, make an appointment with a financial advisor at your bank, ask your friends. I don't know. I go on dates with quite a few finance boys. A lot of my guy friends work in finance, investments, private capital, all of it. And they have a pretty good understanding of money and portfolios and what to invest in. And even some of my girlfriends that work in those fields as well, like I chat with them too. Ask questions, like leverage your network, stop making money such a taboo thing. Ask questions. That's how you are going to become more confident in your ability to be financially independent and secure. And celebrate the small wins in doing so, such as opening a savings account, paying a bill on your own for the first time. I remember when I started to pay my own bills and manage my own money and not having to ask my parents for permission before buying a new pair of jeans. That was such a weird feeling. And I remember that when I first moved out. Or like having my first credit card. Celebrate these small wins because they are big things. And then when it comes to building independence and becoming more independent, a huge thing for me has been working on independent decision making, practicing choosing for you, not to avoid judgment or for others, and learning how to come to a decision on my own without having to go back and forth with someone else or to debate it with someone else. You can ask for advice also, and you don't have to follow it. And my biggest tip when you're asking for advice on anything in life is don't ask for advice on something from someone who you don't want to be like them in that regard. So if you're asking your girlfriend for dating relationship advice, but you don't like the way that their love life is, or the way they conduct themselves in relationships, then girl, honey, why aren't you asking them for that information? Like, that's not the advice you want. You ask advice from the people who you admire, who you look up to, who you aspire to be like. In terms of independence, saying no to things that don't align with you, that's independence too. You don't owe people versions of you that don't feel real anymore. And as someone who feels like they have morphed into a million different versions of themselves, especially over the past 4 or 5 years, you have every right to say no. It is not rude. That is you setting a personal boundary. Obviously, like I said in last week's episode, do so with grace. Like, you don't need to be a bitch about it. You don't owe people anything. When it comes for living for you and not the aesthetic, confidence doesn't live on social media. It lives in your choices. So ask yourself, are you doing things that feel good or just things that look good? Do your goals feel like yours, or do they feel like society's, of others, your parents, friends, what other people expect of you? Embrace the idea that your life doesn't have to be loud to be meaningful. Again, like I said at the beginning of this episode, confidence is silent. Arrogance is loud. Insecurity is loud. Mic drop. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of homework like I did last week, and you seem to like this. I got DMs from you guys. I saw the comments. So let's set a mini challenge for this week. Let's set this little game plan into action together with 3 little confidence and independence challenges for us to try together this week. And I'm going to do them with you. So we can do all 3. We can do 1, but just do at least 1. Number 1, saying no to something that doesn't feel right, even if it's small. Protect your energy, okay? We're going to protect our energy. That's our goal for this week. Do one thing solo that makes you a little bit nervous, but also kind of excited. That is your cue to lean in. It's meant for you, baby. Brunch, a workout, a walk, coffee, applying for a job. You go do you, okay? And then your last thing is to write a proud list. Write down 3 things that you have done recently that reminds you you are growing as a person. I would love to chat with you guys about this in my DMs or in the comments on Spotify. So definitely take some time, do this mini challenge, our 3 little mini confidence and independence challenges, and report back to me. But I want you to remember that you are not behind. You are not broken. You are growing, even if it's messy. It's not perfect. We're not Instagram. We're not Pinterest. We are real humans. It's not going to be perfect. Growth is not linear. You're going to have ups. You're going to have downs, and then you may shoot right back up. You're not supposed to have all the answers in your 20s. Honestly, that would really mean life is boring. This is truly your time to try, to learn, to pivot, to grow, to wear a million different hats, to be a million different versions of you. And even if you've been doubting yourself lately, I want you to hear this. You are already enough. You're growing every day, even on the days where you feel like a mess. And I want you to say this to yourself or write these affirmations down. I am growing at my own pace. I am becoming someone I am proud of. I am safe in my own presence. I trust myself. I am allowed to evolve. I am building a life that feels like mine. Like mine. Emphasis on mine. I am allowed to take up space. I am growing into someone I am proud of. And with that said, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode, the second of our confidence series, discussing everything on confidence and independence. If you feel like this episode resonated with you or you think someone else would really love and enjoy it, please share it with them so that they can work on these things as well. But I would love if you could leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That's how you can help support the show. That's how we can make things bigger and better over here all around. But I love you guys so much, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.